Hello BookTube. So just the other day, Mike at Bibliophiles Bookscapes made a original tag, Why I Read tag, in which he has 10 questions and he had very lovely answers, and I would urge you all to go check out his video. But I thought I should jump into the fun and answer these questions for myself. So question 1 goes, when did you become a serious reader? I would say I became a serious reader last year in 2025 around was May or June, where during my internship period I found BookTube, and in particular Steve Donahue, and through him a lot more other channels, and that really gave me the humility, the humble pie that I required at the time, because I was a very snobby, very inflated uh, sense of self kind of person, or not person but about my own reading, and to know that there are different kind of readers who are far more serious and far more better at reading and yet more humble. uh, that was a reality check that was much required, and I'm very happy that that happened. So last year, what does reading give you that nothing else does? I don't know how to answer this question except say that it's fun, and it's a very particular type of fun that I have not had experienced everywhere or anywhere. And yeah, it's just that it's fun, and it's a very particular kind of fun. Question 3, why do you still read as an adult? So I've just gotten into reading, and trying to become a reader. That's why the channel name. And I'm 22 turning 23, so I don't know, is that an adult? I mean, technically it is, but I don't consider myself one. But why do I read as an adult? I feel like it is an obligation. Now I know how some people on BookTube say that you should not make reading an obligation because it can cause you to not read and make it feel like a chore, and I do understand that. But I do feel like it is an obligation, given that one, I have the ability to read, and two, I have access to the books that I want to read. But also because nowadays there's just so much short form content and distraction, and I'm not making a, oh, the tech billionaires are trying to make you dumb claim. It's just that I feel that it is something that is good for you just to sit down with a book for some time, and let an hour or two pass away, and you just are in a different narrative setting a story is going through. So that is why I read, because I feel it is important. Question, and also because it's fun. Question 4, what kind of reader are you right now? Where he says, are you a mood reader, slow reader, binge reader? I don't think I am average based. I think I'm a little slower than average, and right now I'm attempting to do a reading project, my first ever reading project. So I would go for that reading project guy. Number 5, what makes a book worth finishing for you? Definitely more on the plot side. So uh, I really crave for a good story, and if you can give me a good story, I'm going to read it. I will look over your uh, whatever character inconsistencies, or you know some some other uh, maybe the way you write is not as good, but if the story is engaging enough, I'm going to read the book. And question number 6, what makes you stop reading a book? So I would stop reading a book if I feel like I can't give it enough time and effort than that the book requires. For example, I was reading St. Augustine's Confessions, and I was reading it at a time where I could not spare enough time to properly sit with it, because it is written in a particular way in which you have to sort of focus on it, and I didn't have that time, and doing that along with my college work was not feasible, so I had to DNF it. And another thing is that whether or not I'm vibing with the book, uh, there's sometimes I sort of force myself to go through what I would consider a boring section or not. or a boring section or that goes on for like 50 or 100 pages, but then after a while I just have to ask myself, am I forcing myself to read this? And so I ask myself, am I forcing myself to read this, or is there something else I can read and possibly enjoy more? uh, Now, question 7, why choose books over other entertainment? I'd go back to my answer that books have a particular kind of fun that you can't find anywhere else. Although, with this question, I do struggle with choosing books over other entertainment. My particular vice is scrolling just on randomly on Twitter or even YouTube, just scrolling and opening videos and just going through comments and seeing how people are talking. And the bane of my existence, the bete noir, if you will, would be short form content. YouTube shorts, it just takes so much of my time, or rather, I give it so much of my time, and I'm working on reducing that. Question 8, what themes keep pulling you back to the book? So, I definitely have a sort of affinity towards older works. Like, if a work is old, let's say 1,000-year-old work, or right now I'm reading the Iliad and mythology and the classics, they have a certain sense of charm to them because they are old just by that. So I don't know if that is a theme, whether it's old, ancient, classic mythology, but what other theme? I guess, uh, do I like seeing? Sacrifice. Sacrifice is something that is, when done right, like Hector. Uh, yeah, it really is a moving experience. Question 9. What have I written here? What book would be the best to represent why you read? Okay, so I would say I would choose last year's book that I read. That would be Ovid's Metamorphosis, uh, the David Rayburn translation, and again, it has everything in it. It's mythological. It's old. It was my first book of epic poetry. First time reading verse as a story, and the best way to describe that book would be, it's like a Greek short story collection of myths, all focusing on transformation, people transforming to trees, into ponds, into spiders, where Ovid has collected all these tales, and he sort of segues between each tale. Also, it goes chronologically, so he starts from the beginning of the universe, the Greek creation myths, and then at the end, at the epilogue, he makes a prediction about the future, about himself, about how he will be immortal, which he is. And so, in a sense, it covers everything from the beginning of time to the end of time. It covers everything, and it has such interesting stories with such interesting moments. So I don't know which book it is in or who the character is, but I remember this story where there's this guy who's trying to um, fall in love with this other girl, and he keeps throwing garlands at her house. He keeps throwing garlands, keeps throwing garlands. By the way, this is not a very good story, nice story, but he keeps throwing garlands at a house, but he gets rejected, and then he gets depressed, and he takes that garland and uh, keeps it on the door where he always went to see her and kept throwing the garland, puts it above there and uses it as a noose to hang himself. And he's hanging at the door, and because of the wind moving, the feet his feet sort of hit the door, and a knocking sound is made, and then the door is opened. Like, how do you think of that? That is just what a story. And I have probably narrated it to you terribly, but when it was done in that verse format and it was done so well, it was just mind blowing. And it's just filled with stories like this where you are just gaping in awe of what you, like, I have never read anything like that, and it was just so much fun. And then question number 10, has reading changed how you see the world? Definitely. I feel like it has made me smarter and also made me calmer in the sense, calmer in a sense, because I feel like uh, watching a lot of short form content, you just become, I don't know what the word is, scatterbrained, trigger happy with your emotions. But when you're reading, you sort of have to be a little patient to read the work. And also, I've become more, I don't want to use the word analytical because that sounds too smart, but I am sort of seeing things now how they are structured, as in when I'm reading the paper as well. I'm sort of like focusing on how the information is conveyed. Okay, on what does the first paragraph say? What does the important bits there, and then how the sort of uh, later stuff is uh, dramatized, if you will. Like I like reading the sports section and seeing whatever the cricket match, because I don't watch the cricket match anymore. I just read the article and I just see how certain moments are dramatized by the journalist. And same with when I'm watching YouTube, especially YouTube shorts, because some creators, they try to make very grand claims about the state of the world and so on. And just I wholly attribute this to reading. I've been able to sort of understand the kind of argumentation that they are making. And if I had to give credit, I would give it to Saint Augustine, his book Confessions, because in that he's sort of building an argument, and the way he's writing, he sort of builds an argument and sort of brings up things that would contradict it, and then show that, sort of resolve that contradiction, and then lead somewhere, like that kind of logical uh, thinking. I think that has sort of uh, come on through by osmosis. And definitely, hopefully more reading will sort of increase that ability. So those are the 10 questions of the why I read tag. Again, I would urge you to go and see Mike's original video, which I will link in the description below. And for those of you who have stuck till the end, I would like to say that I've written my questions down on this paper, in which there's a advertisement for a pressure cooker. So if any of you want a 3 liter plus 5 liter combo offer for 5,799 rupees, I'm your man. Anyway, thank you for watching BookTube. Goodbye.